Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you don't have time to listen to some dude yap for 20 minutes about players that are probably rostered in 100% of your leagues, then I got you, because I don't either. So welcome to the Late Night Waiver Wire Show, where I'll talk about some players that you should consider picking up lickety-split. So let's get right on into it. Woo! Okay, let's start off with running back. So first and foremost, Audric Estime. You should be picking this dude up in every single league. It looks like he has finally taken over the backfield from Javonte. Sean Payton has finally had enough of Javonte because Audric outsnapped, outtouched, and outgained all Denver running backs. In the Broncos' loss to the Chiefs, he went 14 for 53. Certainly not a crazy stat line, although he's getting that volume. Looks like he's probably going to be the lead back there, so definitely somebody you want to be picking up, especially because that stat line is against a really tough matchup in the Chiefs. So, all right, and next, moving on to Gus Edwards. So he is finally back. He is looking healthy. Even when he played earlier this year, he did not look fully healthy to me. Dude was averaging like 1.5 yards per carry. But this week, he came out and had a really nice week. He went 10 for 55, looked like usual. Gus is south, running north and south just like he knows how. But yeah, obviously that stat line isn't overwhelming or anything, but I am starting to wonder if he's going to get the John Harbaugh role where he's used on the goal line a ton in this offense. So kind of keeping my fingers crossed for that. We'll be picking him up and holding on to him, hoping that's the case. All right, and moving on to Khalil Herbert. So I know, his first touch as a Bengal, he friggin' fumbled the ball. But yeah, no, I do think that as he continues to get more familiar with his offense, he will start to see more of a role, maybe be a third down type guy, goal line type guy. You never really know, but it is these type of players that you want to be picking up. He could go in there and really do absolutely nothing, but hey, he could end up being fantasy relevant. So you want to be picking up these type of people. Khalil Herbert. All right, moving on to quarterback. So Russell Wilson, if you are QB needy, I would recommend him. I think he provides a pretty safe floor for you. His ceiling is not super high, although he did go for 24 points earlier this year when he put up a rushing touchdown. So yeah, I don't know. If you're struggling at QB, I think Russ provides you a very, very nice and warm safety blanket. So something you might want to consider picking up. Moving on, I've sung these guys' song the past 2 weeks. So Drake May and Jameis Winston. Yeah, Drake, he's a rookie. He's, growing as a player. He's got that scrambling upside. So if you need a quarterback, I think that he's definitely somebody who might be worth hanging on to. And Jameis is, if you are really, really quarterback needy, you need a spot starter, I would recommend picking up Jameis. As we saw last week, not a good one, 3 interceptions. But as I've said the past couple weeks, he is a very matchup-dependent quarterback. So you just got to pick out the good matchups when it comes to starting Jameis. So yes, consider those guys if you need quarterbacks. All right, wide receiver, just going to throw these guys out really quick. They're all like 40 to 50% rostered. So Ricky Pearsall, Quentin Johnston, Jerry Jeudy, any of those guys are on your waivers. You need to be picking them up. Now let's talk about some actual sneaky pickups. So Mike Williams of the Steelers. I kind of looked at his name on the list at first and laughed a little bit. And I was like, yeah, Mike Williams, old injured ass, I ain't doing shit. But then I thought about it and I was like, nah, I mean, the Steelers need a legitimate number 2 in that offense, and Russ, as immobile and limited as he is nowadays, he still is capable of throwing a good deep ball, as we saw. So I don't know, I don't think that Mike Williams is like a great route runner at this point in his career, but if he can get open for a few deep bombs a game, then he's fantasy relevant, so somebody who I think is worth a stash if you got room on your bench, but not somebody who you need to be flocking to pick up or anything, dropping hella fab or nothing like that. All right, and then let's talk about Demario Douglas. So I am a Drake May fan, if you can't tell. Demario Douglas is basically his primary target, primary wide receiver. Hunter Henry is probably his primary target, but Demario Douglas has been seeing solid, consistent volume. The plays have just not been big, so we just need one breakout play from him. Who knows? He could just be another Wan'Dale Robinson putting up 5 catches for 30 yards or whatever. But I have faith in Pop Douglas as a player, so if you are in a deeper league and need some wide receiver depth, definitely somebody that I would consider picking up. And tight ends, speaking of which, Hunter Henry. Talked about this guy for the past couple weeks. pick him up if you need a tight end. He has been a very, very reliable player this year. Mike Gesicki, talked about him last week. He didn't have a great week this past week, but any game that T. Higgins is not playing, he is a must start in my opinion. I mean, he sees a lot of targets, and with this big, messy tight end room in Cincinnati, it can muck it up like it did last week, but I do still think that he is going to be a consistent target in that offense, even with T. Higgins there. So definitely somebody who is worth picking up if you need a tight end. All right, and last tight end here, Jonnu Smith. So Jonnu has 20 less yards on the season than Jalen Waddle, which isn't saying a whole lot because Jalen Waddle hasn't done anything this year. But I mean, still, this dude is consistently seeing targets on a week-to-week basis. Hasn't really gotten in the end zone, aside from one time. But I do think that he provides you a pretty safe floor at the tight end position if you need it. And who knows, maybe he decides to get into the end zone. I think he's certainly more likely to with Tua back out there. So before we wrap it up, spicy pick of the week, I'm going to throw Alec Pierce out there. So the reason this is spicy pick of the week, this is based entirely on the belief that the Colts decide to put Anthony Richardson back in there. He had a full-blown mental recovery, is a newly changed human being, and goes out there and just lights it up and is throwing deep bombs to Alec Pierce here, there, everywhere. Yeah, it's a pipe dream, I know, but that's why it's the spicy pick of the week. All right, ignore the shitty camera quality. Real quick, couple things I forgot to mention. This is the point in the season where you need to pick up insurance running backs. If you have Breece Hall, you need to be picking up Braylon Allen. You got James Cook, you need to get Ray Davis. Those types of people, you need to be insuring your running backs in case they go down later in the season. And second thing, MVS, sneaky second spicy pick of the week. As always, appreciate you guys for joining me on the Late Night Waiver Show. Comment, like, subscribe, check out my other socials at Scrabdabala. And as always, y'all have a beautiful night now, all right?